Listen, not bad.
Sometimes Vertigo can feel a little bit frustrating, so this is 8 tips to get better at Vertigo. If you ever wonder why a CT player in mid will play on top of this drywall set, it's because it's really difficult to kill the player when they're here because there's so many angles that you can really use that are safe. The first angle you're going to have to contend with is this player right here. As you see, the player is perfectly behind this box so that they can get the first shot on you, but you'll notice that if you go more and more out to the left, they can sit up here or stand and sit down here as well. So this drywall set is really diverse for a first pick for a CT if they really feel like getting a little bit aggressive in mid. It's actually possible for CT players to spam T-side players that are sitting in this ladder room. If you suspect somebody's in there, maybe in this corner throwing a molly towards Sidehall, or in this corner in particular, you can take pretty much no risk and actually spam those players through this paper thin wall. If you line yourself up with the corner wall here, and then maybe a little bit left, you can actually aim where this horizontal line intersects with the vertical line, and you're going to be able to spam the player extremely quickly. You can even just tap as well, and you're going to be able to hit that player every time. Another thing is if this player is in this corner, as you see, even if the player is holding their gun out, the barrel doesn't stick around the corner. So if you're coming around and you maybe think that that's a threat, you can spam in line with this line at about head level, and you're going to be able to spam the player extremely quickly if you're just shooting. A common mistake that I see mid players play on Vertigo is that they'll play it from CT and actively peek. The problem with this is that your entire shadow is projected on this back wall, and if you're a T-side player just sitting on this box, you'll see that and be able to pre-fire the player. Instead of playing there, you can play on top of this fence where if you jump on this level, you'll be able to have an off angle for anyone trying to split A through mid. But you can also jump or kind of walk on top of this fence post and be able to see a player that's going over this position or a player that's boosting in mid. You've probably seen your favorite player silent drop this ladder really quickly and you don't know how to do it. If you get into this corner with your knife out, you can aim in the middle of this line on the vent and just walk and W key the entire way. You'll catch the ladder right before you hit the ground and do 0 damage. If you feel that's too risky and you want to do it with your gun out, of course you're going to move slower, so that means you need a different lineup, where if you aim in line with this pipes where it connects with this middle piece here, this connection piece, you can just do the exact same thing. If you're psycho enough to do it with an op, you can get into the corner and aim just at the right side of this mark here. You can just do it with your crosshair, and then just take out your op and do the exact same thing. Although it seems pretty safe to hide behind the sandbags here, you'll notice that if I actually place a bot, I can see that player's head while standing up the entire time, no matter the angle that I'm standing at. So this is a huge problem, and if you're behind the sandbags, you pretty much have to crouch. It's very important to take the Sidehall position as a T-side player, because if you're splitting towards A, this new angle exists, and it's super annoying to deal with if that player is either holding Sidehall or holding this A main push area. If you know that you're going to be safe, you can flush that player out or kill them by getting into this corner here. Aiming at this dot, it's very difficult to see, but that's your vertical up into the middle of this first pipe here. If you grab a nade, a flash, or a Molotov, you can either flash the player off like this. You can Molotov the player, as you see it goes perfectly in that spot and flushes that player out completely. Or you can throw a nade and do about maybe 23 or 25 damage on that player. From that same corner, you can also throw a smoke where you aim in the same place as your original utility set, but just a little bit higher up to the line, and you throw. This smoke lands up top and gives you a little bit of a lurk smoke where you can jump off to the right here and wait for a CT that's going to cross. If you want to deal with both catwalk and headshot, you can throw the God Molly, where if you get in the middle of these two bricks and you aim just to the right of this corner here of the crane, this Molotov hits this position on catwalk, and it also hits this position behind this headshot. You'll always hear players complain about this quad or ninja spot, as the only way of actually killing the person is not with a wall bang, but grabbing an op and actually shooting through that way. Of course, it's not really entirely scientific to grab an op and try and spam from the middle of the stairs or close up. So if you go underneath this part of the stairs here and get into this corner, if you aim below this little nub thing and then in line with the horizontal line here, you can see a jump throw will get this position perfectly. It'll burn max distance all the way to the left, so if the person wants to run away to the left into default, they'll just be completely dead. And if they're running to the right, of course, the molly goes max distance this way, so all they have to do is W key into their death.